Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Luxxfolio's channel. We're sitting here with Dean, and we really wanted to dive into some of the recent events going on in the crypto world today. But Dean, how are you doing?
I'm really good. Thanks, Michael.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. So there's been a lot of talk, largely from Elon Musk and Tesla coming out and saying it about Bitcoin's energy consumption being ridiculously high and how it's making the world a worse place, us propping up and us working with Bitcoin. Share your thoughts on it with me, please.
I think that I was kind of with everybody when, it seems like Elon Musk likes to sort of flip-flop and nobody really seems to understand. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful theories as to why he behaves that way, but I would say that I have enough respect for that man to know that he knows that the benefits of crypto mining and specifically Bitcoin mining far outweigh any energy consumption that it may, that it may be responsible for. Furthermore, he also intimately understands that Bitcoin mining is sort of intertwined with green energy. I mean, it behooves each and every Bitcoin miner to find the greenest possible solution for their power needs. And as a financier of projects, I can say firsthand that we see groups always. A lot of people that are in the solar business are really interested in attaching Bitcoin mining operations to their solar farms to increase the internal rate of return and get things paid off quicker. So I think that Elon understands all of these things. He certainly understands all of these things. And I think that it's really, it's either an ego-driven thing for him, or it's a very obvious situation where he is working with the U.S. federal government to kind of slow down the adoption of Bitcoin, the institutional adoption of it, in exchange for subsidies that he needs to dominate the way he does with Tesla. So it's or it's a combination of a bunch of things that I'm not smart enough to figure out.
That's fair. You say ego, but I think a large portion of this is just because of the current era of the cult of personality with influence on things. This could also just be someone trying to work through and figure out what they think is the right thing. But there's just so much weight with everything he does and says, right, that it causes these large moves, which it shouldn't do. It literally shouldn't do. Like, the man might be looking at it and saying, hey, well, this could be greener. It's not there right now, so I don't want to support it. And if he was a normal person, normal businessman, people would be like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But he's Elon Musk, and everything he says and does, it's like even the smallest whim turns into a humongous thing.
And it's amazing. And you know what? I think, knowing myself a little bit, I think if I was capable of doing such a thing, I might want to take that influence for a spin once or twice a week myself. I think that must be an amazing feeling to be able to, to impact the market that way. But I also believe in my heart of hearts that he is well read enough. He's certainly a big thinker, and big thinkers will research quickly enough or understand inherently that a technology like Bitcoin has an opportunity to, not an opportunity, it will in fact change the way everything works in our world. And all of it's for the better. And that's why he adopted it in the first place. That's why he made the bet he made when he bought $1.5 billion of it with the Tesla treasury, because he understood that. He didn't wake up one day and go, oh, I've been duped. It's just not, it's just not the way he operates.
That's true. It's true. Like I personally have worked with companies that, they do as much green energy as they can. And, you can recycle the heat from them too, especially if you live in a colder climate, which a lot of people in the upper US and Canada do. In the winter, it can replace your heating bill completely. And you can do them in a lot of different ways. And overall, as you had said, green energy going into crypto is just going to become more prevalent over time. And that's not even touching on comparing Bitcoin's energy consumption to other things, aside from just comparing it to Northern Europe, right? I mean, there's lots of things that consume tons of energy that people just don't talk about.
You know what, as you know, Michael, as we were talking before we started rolling here, The US dollar is propped up by, by a massive war machine. Like what's the carbon footprint of the US military? What's the carbon footprint of the GDP of the United States? I mean, if you're counting all of that stuff, I mean, that's what's supporting the US dollar. So let's not compare it to Norway, the energy consumption, a global industry. I would say that gold mining probably uses more energy than what they use in Norway.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of it's a bit of an odd, but when you see the media outlets and they pick it up, and that's kind of a little soundbite that they use, most of us don't really stop and think, well, that's kind of weird. Why wouldn't they compare it to something like an apples to apples comparison? The problem is I don't think a lot of people understand the wide-reaching opportunity that we have with these cryptocurrencies. I mean, it changes. I think I talked to you on a previous one about, bringing people out of poverty, keeping people that are, and how it relates to, to radicalism and terrorism and all these types of things. If people wake up every morning and they have a fair chance that central bankers have robbed them of over the past 20 years, that does away with a lot of the problems that we have in this world. And I think that, if people were running it through that filter, they would go, this is a bargain. Whatever energy consumption they're using, this is a bargain. And not even to say that energy consumption is getting more and more efficient every day, right? That's getting more and more efficient every day. So I think it's a fascinating subject. It's certainly made me kind of, study and reevaluate and really kind of think about that. But it didn't take me long to realize how preposterous that statement was from Elon. But he's just sort of, I think he's placating somebody, or he's just trying out his influence. And I can't really even blame him. It's
hard. I instantly, the first thing that popped into my head when I had heard that was, well, how much, what's the environmental impact of mining for lithium for EVs, for electric vehicles? Like no pot calling the kettle black here, Elon.
What's the environmental impact of blasting a rocket into space once a week? Like, I don't know, maybe it's not that much, but it seems pretty spectacular.
And the whole thing behind it is we're blasting rockets into space. We're mining for lithium. We're mining Bitcoin for the future betterment of people. So yes, there's a little bit of a trade-off, but the whole thing is, at the end of the day, we all think it's worth it. So,
Michael, I've become a huge fan of people like Robert Breedlove and Jeff Booth and Michael Saylor, and all of those guys and others like them. None of them are selling anybody a trading strategy and you can get rich quick. Their whole interest, their entire interest in this is the betterment of the world, where the world's going and what it's going to look like for all of our children. And they're people that are seeing the bigger picture, and they've made, presumably all of those guys I just mentioned have made lots of money, and they're very comfortable relative to, but they're looking around going, we have to make this world for our kids. Everybody's got to have a chance, or we have things like, revolution and wars and all those types of things. And every war that's ever been fought has been fought over, in a roundabout way, screwed up monetary policy and hunger and poverty and lack of opportunity. And Bitcoin addresses all of that in such an elegant, brilliant way that most of the world is just waking up to. And a lot of the world is going to take a long time, because this exponential development of technology has happened so fast that a lot of people are just blown away by even the suggestion of most of this stuff. Sure. But those same people don't understand what money is in the first place. Let's say, oh, I don't understand Bitcoin. You say, well, do you understand the dollar? It's like, yeah, it's what's in my wallet. It's the paper stuff. I can give it to someone and buy something. That's what they understand about it.
True.
They don't understand that they're being diluted and robbed, and the only people that are making money or prospering are people that happen to have assets. And if you don't, you're having your pocket picked. If they understood all that, they would probably go, yeah, this energy consumption's like a nothing burger. Let's not even talk about it, because it's fixing all of these other ills. So
Yeah, it's
um,
true. And
yeah,
you know, I give Elon a little bit of credit here because I've been bashing on him this whole video, but I give him some credit because he didn't dismiss it. He didn't dismiss Bitcoin, and he didn't dismiss crypto as a whole at all. So
right.
I guess
Hey,
he brought up a point of discussion, which is worthwhile. And here we are discussing it. And yeah, so overall, it's just open discussion.
absolutely, I'm with you. I'm an Elon Musk fan. It's hard not to be. I mean, he is one of the great thinkers of our time, and he provokes discussion, and he pokes people in such a way that I think it's probably ultimately good. And his comments, last week were, it really made me take a good hard look at things in a way that I maybe hadn't sort of looked at it in the past. And for that, I'm grateful to Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Dean. Well, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your thoughts on this. Like this is a really fun one. It was good to get into your brain here and hear your insight on this stuff. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
I got it all off my chest today, Michael.
Good. It was a quality confession then, Dean.
All
Thank you
right,
for
good.
coming on. Thank you everybody for watching. You have any questions about anything related to Bitcoin, energy consumption, mining in general, anything, just let us know. We'll be happy to answer it for you. Like and subscribe. We'll get some more content to you as soon as we can. Thank you everyone for watching.